This is a very important message for you today. Do not ignore it. Pay attention to this message. The clouds in heaven parted just once today, and in that single trembling moment, a voice whispered your name through the veil that separates this world from the one beyond. Archangel Michael has been pacing near the border of eternity, holding in his hand a message that should have reached you long ago, but you were too heartbroken to hear, too distracted by this noisy world to feel the touch of a spirit that once knew your heart better than anyone. But today, something divine cracked open the silence. Their spirit has stepped forward again, one final time, hoping that maybe now, you are ready to listen. They are not here with warnings. They bring no fear. Just love. Unfinished love. Pure, aching, lingering love, waiting for closure. Waiting for one last chance to tell you what they held back in life. The air around you feels different, doesn't it? Like someone's presence just passed near you. That's not your imagination. That was them. That was their final energy, released into this fragile window of time, and Michael is begging you, don't miss it again. Their voice is soft, but it's trembling with emotion. Tell them I never stopped watching. Tell them I heard their cries. Tell them I remember the last thing they said, and I carry it like gold in the next life. Michael's wings are heavy with emotion as he brings this message. He doesn't want you to skip. He doesn't want the spirit to fade again, not without being heard. You may think it's too late, but heaven doesn't operate by clocks. Heaven moves by heartbeats. And your heartbeat, it brought them back for just this one moment. There are moments when time bends. When heaven leans closer to earth, when a soul that once loved you more than words could ever carry, tries one more time to reach across the veil. And this is that moment. You think you're just scrolling, just watching, but you're not. You've been summoned. There's a trembling in the air that only the heart can feel. A vibration that cannot be heard with ears but only with memory, and that memory is calling you. Archangel Michael stands beside the spirit now, his eyes full of compassion, his voice low but urgent. They've come so far to find them, he says, pointing to you. And they only have moments left. The one who passed, the one you never got to say goodbye to, or maybe never got to say the truth to, is standing beside him. They are not angry. They are not upset. But they are longing. And longing is a powerful thing in the spirit realm. It carries messages that have waited years. It carries the kind of love that never dies, no matter how many seasons pass. They are speaking now, not with lips, but with essence. Their presence is thick in the air around you. Tell them I forgive them, they say. Tell them I understand now, all of it. The pain. The distance. The silence. Archangel Michael leans forward to deliver this message because the voice is fading. Each second you wait, the connection weakens. Each hesitation pulls the spirit further back into the quiet corners of heaven. But you were never meant to miss this. This wasn't random. Your name, your spirit, was whispered into the winds of heaven. It echoed until it found Michael's ears. It pulsed until he said, "Enough. I will go. I will deliver this myself." And now here you are. Right here. At the edge of knowing. The edge of remembering. The Spirit is reaching toward you through memory, through dreams, through the ache in your chest you couldn't explain for weeks. You thought you were just tired. You thought it was just grief. But it was their voice, asking you to stop, to be still, to hear. They never stopped loving you. They never left your side. Even in their silence, they were hoping. Waiting. Praying that somehow, heaven would allow this one last try. This is that try. Please, don't let this be the final fade. Don't let their spirit disappear again unheard. They waited until heaven gave permission again. Until the stars aligned just enough to crack open the silence. Until the pain in your chest finally softened into openness. Because a spirit can't force their way into your heart, they must be welcomed. And today, something in your soul finally said yes. That's why they're here. That's why Archangel Michael is standing so still, so gentle, as if he knows how fragile this moment is. The Spirit has stepped forward, but not with pride, not with demand, with humility. With eyes full of unshed tears. They've seen your nights. The way you stare at the ceiling and ask the air questions. They've heard every whisper you made to the sky, thinking no one was listening. But someone was. They were. Always. Even after death, even after their energy scattered into divine light, some part of them never left you. They chose to stay near. And now, they are asking Michael to help deliver what couldn't be said while they were alive. Not because they were afraid. But because sometimes life ends before the heart finishes speaking. And what they never got to say has become heavy in heaven. Not because it's too late, but because heaven believes you deserve to know. Tell them, they whisper again. Their voice is thinner now. Their light flickering. But their love is unshakable. Tell them I still remember the way they held my hand. The way they looked at me when I was weak. The way they smiled, even when their own world was falling apart. Archangel Michael places his hand over his chest. His eyes shine. They are proud of you, he says. You think you've failed. But from where they're watching, you are still their miracle. And now something even deeper stirs. The Spirit takes one step closer. You may feel a chill. A flicker of something unseen brushing past your shoulder. That's them. Not to scare you. But to let you know they are really here. in this space, in this moment. They don't need your sorrow. They don't want your guilt. They want your attention, your heart, your willingness to remember. Because if you remember, even for one more minute, then their light won't fade. If you remember, then their story continues, not in silence, but in you. Michael turns to you and speaks one final time for this moment. If they fade again, they'll still love you. But if you listen now, if you answer this moment, something holy will awaken in your life. Something they left behind, a blessing, a gift, a sacred promise they made with God, it will begin to move. There is something they left behind for you. Not money. Not letters. Not an old photograph in a drawer. What they left was something sacred, sealed in the unseen, placed in the hands of God, and entrusted to Archangel Michael for the day your heart would be open enough to receive it. That day is today. Their spirit is trembling, not because they are afraid, but because after all this waiting, after all this silence, the moment has come. And they want so desperately for you to say yes. Yes to remembering. Yes to feeling. Yes to believing that what you lost is not truly gone, it has simply changed form. The love is still here. The blessing is still yours. Michael lifts something invisible between his hands. You can't see it, but your spirit can. It looks like light. It feels like warmth. It carries their voice. This is what I saved for you, they whisper through that glow. When I left the earth, I knew I couldn't take all of me. A part of me had to stay behind, to protect them, to guide them, to remind them they were never unloved. That light floats toward you now. Slowly. Gently. It moves like memory. Like music. Like every unspoken "I'm sorry" you ever needed to hear, and every "I still love you" you never imagined would come again. And now, it reaches your heart. You don't need to speak. Your tears already answered. Your silence already said what heaven needed to hear. Michael leans in closer. His voice carries the echo of divine time. What was left for you is not just comfort. It is power. It is awakening. It is the unlocking of a door you stopped knocking on long ago. That door is opening now. Because in heaven, love never dies. It evolves. It plants seeds inside the ones left behind. And now that seed is breaking open inside you. That is why you felt the pull. That is why your emotions have been rising without reason. It wasn't sadness. It was spiritual preparation. They have been preparing you to receive what they once prayed for, and you never even knew. This message isn't just a goodbye. It's a beginning. The beginning of the chapter they couldn't write, so they waited for you to hold the pen. They trusted you with their love. with their legacy, with their last light. And heaven trusted you to carry it home. And now, something begins to shift inside you. Not just an emotion, not just a memory, but something far deeper, something spiritual, ancient, something that was buried under the weight of everything you've survived. For so long, you've been living with invisible questions, moving through life with a smile that others praised but a silence that only heaven could hear. And now, in this divine moment, something sacred is being awakened, not because you begged for it, not because you searched hard enough, but because the one who loved you from beyond the veil requested it on your behalf. They stood in front of God and whispered your name with so much love that even angels bowed. And Archangel Michael, he heard. He wrote your name in divine ink and said, "We will try again. This is the try. This is the moment." The light that touched your heart in the last part wasn't just for comfort, it was ignition. It was the sound of something being reborn in you that had been sleeping for years. You didn't even know how much of your spirit had been numbed. But heaven knew. The Spirit knew. And now that part is rising. There is no thunder. No flash. Just the soft warmth of a love that never died, wrapping around your soul like a memory that feels more real than the world you see. Michael's voice is steady now, but filled with deep knowing. They waited. They watched. And now they rejoice. Because you did not walk away this time. You stayed. And because you stayed, because you opened your heart in this moment, heaven can move. The blessing that has been delayed for years is shifting closer. Not because of luck, but because divine timing is sacred, and this was the appointed hour. The Spirit who loved you, who couldn't say enough when they were alive, who maybe left too soon, too fast, too quietly, is standing beside you in spirit and saying, "Let them feel who they are again." You had forgotten. But they had not. You had buried the parts of yourself that shine. But they had been collecting those pieces, holding them in their arms, praying that one day you would feel strong enough to return to who you truly are. And now, Michael opens the book. Not a book of religion. A book of remembrance. The pages glow. Your name is on one of them. And beside your name are prayers, not yours, but theirs. The one who past prayed things over your life that you never heard. At night, in the quiet of eternity, they asked God for protection, for favor, for open doors in your name. And those prayers did not die. They live. They move. They are walking toward you even now. That job that almost came but vanished. That relationship that felt like a maybe but then faded. That opportunity that showed up once and never returned. None of that was a mistake. It was being protected. Delayed. Reorganized by heaven's design. Because the blessing wasn't ready. And neither were you. But now? Now you are not who you were when they died. You have grown. You have wept. You have loved again. Lost again. And still, you are standing. That's why the door is opening now. Michael looks at you. Not as an angel above you, but as a guardian beside you. They asked me to stand by your side until the day you could breathe freely again, he says. And that day is very near. You may feel confused, tired. You may even doubt all of this. But your spirit knows. Your soul has been waiting for this moment since the first tear you cried after they left. And now it's here. You don't need to fix everything. You don't need to chase. All you need to do is receive. Receive what they tried to give in their final moments. The truth. The love. The peace. The hope. The light that has waited like a seed under snow is breaking through. They see you now, not just the version you show others, but the real you. The one who has survived silent storms. The one who loves harder than people understand. The one who keeps giving even when empty. And because they see that version of you, they have chosen to come back, one more time, to give what they couldn't before. You don't need to earn this. You don't need to qualify. You just need to be still long enough to hear heaven say, you are still loved. You are still protected. You are still chosen. The soul does not forget. What love it held, what hands it touched, what names it whispered in prayer, all of it remains alive in the folds of eternity. And when the timing becomes holy, and the heart becomes quiet, and the veil grows thin, the soul returns. Not to haunt, but to heal. Not to demand, but to deliver. The spirit who once looked into your eyes with trust, who left this earth perhaps too suddenly, too soon, too silently, has returned through the gates of mercy. And with them comes the sacred breath of unfinished light, a final assignment, a divine inheritance meant for you and you alone. Archangel Michael knows how fragile your spirit became after their absence. He saw the days you didn't speak to anyone, the nights you cried in secret, the mornings you put on a strong face and stepped out into a world that no longer felt whole. Heaven counted each moment, not to punish you, but to preserve the depth of your soul for this exact day. And now that the moment is here, Michael unseals the envelope. The divine seal glows for a moment and then fades, like wax melting under the heat of truth. Inside it is their blessing. A spiritual letter, written not with ink, but with memory, with tears, with love that never left. It reads like this: you don't know how proud I am. You don't see what I see. I saw the moments you wanted to give up and didn't. I saw the prayers you whispered half believing they'd never reach anywhere. But they reached me. I was there. Every time you whispered into the dark, thinking no one heard, I did. I watched you love others even when you were empty. I watched you survive things I couldn't. I watched you carry my memory with dignity, not bitterness. And that's why I asked God to keep watching you. That's why I asked Archangel Michael to stand near you. Because your heart is sacred. And I couldn't leave it unguarded. Michael folds the letter, but its contents are already absorbed into your spirit. Something inside you clicks into place, as if a lost key has been found. You feel warmth rise in your chest, not the kind that burns, but the kind that heals. Their words are now written inside your bones. You are not who you were before reading this message. You are becoming someone your ancestors prayed for. Someone the heavens planned around. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not too broken. You are the answer. You are the continuation of a story that did not end, but transitioned. And now, that story is taking shape through your hands, through your voice, through your breath. You think it's a coincidence that you're here. But the Spirit planned this visit before time counted today. They said, "Let my message arrive when they are tired enough to believe again. When they are cracked open enough to receive what cannot be explained." That's now. Michael now points toward a door. You hadn't seen it before. Not with your eyes. But your soul always knew it existed. This is the door to the inheritance. Not gold. Not land. But destiny. Purpose. Healing. A divine current that will now flow through your life because the Spirit paid the price for it in prayers, in pain, in unseen moments of surrender. The door doesn't open with force. It opens with remembrance. You only need to remember that you were always chosen. That you were always loved. That nothing about your journey has been random. Even your pain has been holy. Even your delay was part of the rhythm. And now the rhythm is changing. A new frequency is being released into your life. The kind that brings sudden favor. Unexpected phone calls. Forgiveness. Clarity. Protection you didn't even ask for. Restoration that feels supernatural. Michael steps aside now. The Spirit smiles. They are fading, not because they are leaving, but because their message has been delivered. Their mission is complete. And before they fade into the golden light, they say one final thing: keep going. What's coming is beautiful. It may not make sense yet. But it's real. And it's yours. You have no idea how much has already shifted just because you stayed present. Just because you allowed yourself to feel. Just because you did not scroll past. The universe bends differently around souls that dare to be still, to listen, to weep if they must. Heaven doesn't require perfection, it responds to permission. And today, something ancient has responded to yours. It began when your eyes paused, when your chest tightened with something you couldn't explain. That was their spirit entering your space again. Not as memory, not as ghost, but as light. Real light. Living, breathing, spiritual light that had been waiting in heaven's vault for the moment your soul whispered, "I'm ready." Archangel Michael felt that whisper, though no one around you heard it. And when heaven feels truth like that, the atmosphere must respond. That's why, lately, you've been feeling things before they happen. That's why your emotions have felt heavier. That's why certain people's names rise in your chest out of nowhere. The spirit is moving. The blessing is aligning. The old pain is detaching itself. The new season has begun, and you didn't even realize you crossed into it. But heaven did. Michael knew when your timeline turned. He marked it. He blessed it. He hovered near it. And now, that shift is echoing through your relationships, your decisions, your voice. People around you may not understand why you've changed. Why you feel softer but stronger. Why you seem quieter but more powerful. But that's because they didn't hear the message you just received. They didn't feel the presence you just welcomed. They didn't witness the way your entire spirit leaned forward when you heard their name whispered again in love. That name still rings in heaven. The one you miss. The one you cried over. The one whose absence left your heart with a question mark that life could never answer. They are no longer absent. They have become part of your essence now. That's what love does when it transcends form, it becomes part of you. Not something you carry like a burden, but something you become.